Hi, I'm Dr. Rashawn Ray, aim to speak truth to power, and this is my daily thought. Every kid should get the type of education that my kids are getting. But unfortunately, the United States is failing its children. We are failing our children. What we promise every child in the United States is that they are going to have an equal education. But unfortunately, we know that that's not the case. That federal and state funding for education has significantly decreased, and property taxes have significantly increased in terms of the percentage that's allocated for local school funding. So that means if you live in a more affluent area, your kids are going to get more resources at school. And if you live in a poorer area, your kids are going to get less resources, right? And so we really need to think about what we're doing here. This is one of the reasons why the United States has stayed stagnant as it relates to education in developed countries. If you look at rankings, world rankings, what you see is that the United States has basically stayed stagnant. The reason for that is because you have some people who are performing a whole lot better, right? So these are the haves, and then you have people who are performing a whole lot worse. Those are the have-nots. So we have this huge polarization that in many ways represents the social class system that we see more broadly in the United States. And in many ways, we have a caste system that's represented here. And I mean, for me, I just reflect on growing up in Atlanta and being zoned for a school that didn't have enough books for students, that didn't have air conditioning in the summer. In August in Atlanta, do you know how hot it is in Georgia? Can you imagine trying to learn in an environment where you don't have air conditioning, you don't have enough books? And then to add insult to injury, some of the windows were broken out. So in the wintertime, then you were cold, right? How are you supposed to learn in an environment like that, right? And now my kids go to the ¡1 school in the county. And as I sit there and see these kids, and I see them cheer on their teachers, and I see their teachers support them, and I see tons of support that they're getting in terms of resources, and I just think every kid should have that. And that makes me sad. That saddens me that we have this polarization, because as we know, the less resources that schools have, the worse that students actually perform on standardized tests and with their grades. And so we really need to think about what we're doing as it relates to our education system, right? That instead of having it where simply because I happen to live in an affluent area and some other kids don't, that shouldn't necessarily have an impact on their education, right? It's not their fault. Not to mention, the United States promises every kid an equal education. So the thing we have to ask ourselves is, how much progress have we made when one of the main promises that the United States makes is to its children, and kids can't get an equal education? So while my kids get to get something that's extremely special, it saddens me that all kids can't get that. So this is my daily thought. Conversations matter, like Black Lives and Books, and I hope that this sparks one in your local area, with your family, with your friends, thinking and talking about what we can do to make sure that all kids have an equal opportunity. It shouldn't just be about equality. It should be about equity, right? And it should also be about liberation. How do we actually remove the barriers that prevent individuals from an equal education? School funding and using local property taxes is one of the main ways. We gotta change it. We gotta change it for our future. We gotta change it for our kids.